Yeah. Are we all here? Is everyone in? Who's going to give me the nod to go ahead? Are we ready? Okay, well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the launch of Andy Murray Live for 2017. We've got some very exciting announcements to make, so without further ado, I'm just going to introduce our panel of top table guests here today. Of course, you all know world number one Andy Murray, Stuart McKenzie, Senior Sponsorship Manager from SSE, and Mark Devlin, the Chief Operating Officer from UNICEF UK. It's fantastic to have you all with us. We're going to hear from you all in just a moment, but first, let's just remind ourselves of this fantastic event last year. Wow, fantastic memories, and as you can see, great atmosphere, lots of fun, and of course, more importantly, it raised over £300,000 for charities last year. And today we're here to announce that the event is returning for the second year to the SSE Hydro Arena in Glasgow on the 7th of November. It's going to be another exciting evening of tennis and entertainment, and this year, once again, we'll be raising money for two charities, UNICEF UK, once again, who Andy is an ambassador for, and Mark is here to tell us a little bit more about it, and a local Scottish charity which will soon be announced. 10,800 tickets will go on sale today, with over half of all of those seats just £25, making the event very accessible for all. And last year's tickets sold out within 48 hours, and demand is expected to be even higher this year. Fans who are unable to get tickets to Glasgow will be able to follow the action on Eurosport, the home of Grand Slam tennis, and it will be broadcast on Eurosport exclusively across the UK, Europe and around the world. Now to the players. This year, Andy is delighted to announce that he will be taking on the 18-time Grand Slam champion Roger Federer. And of course, for all of you who don't know, it will be the first time that Roger will be playing tennis on Scottish soil. And following that, the singles, Andy will be joined by his brother Jamie to take on Tim Henman and the magician, as he's known, Mansour Barami, in a more relaxed doubles challenge. So first of all, Andy, just tell us how excited you are to be hosting this event once again.
Yeah, obviously really looking forward to it. Last year, for the first year, I think went extremely well. Obviously great turnout, lots of people came along to watch, and the feedback was that everyone had a good time and enjoyed it, and obviously raised a good sum of money for two great causes. And this year, obviously having Roger involved, I think is incredible to get the chance, well, for Scottish tennis fans to get the chance to see him playing there for the first time. Should be great, and I'm very, very lucky, or we are all very lucky that are involved in this event, that he's agreed to do it. So really looking forward to it this year. Yeah,
very special to have him on board, particularly, of course, as he's just won his 18th Grand Slam title at the age of 35. Just give us your thoughts on that, and also how it came about that you've got him to come to Glasgow.
Yeah, it's incredible, obviously, what he did in Australia after such a long break. But tennis, we obviously played so much a lot of the year, and actually, sometimes coming into events fresh can have, it's a huge advantage really as well. And him and Rafa were both coming back from pretty significant period of time out, and they both played it extremely well. So maybe that's something that we can all learn from moving forward. And then, yeah, in terms of how got him to agree to do this, basically he'd asked me around French Open time last year if if I would go and play in his charity event, which is just after the Miami tournament in April, and I agreed to it, and then he's kind of returning the favour in November. So yeah, it's really, really good that he's doing it, and I'm sure it'll be a great night.
Yeah, and what do you think he's going to bring to the event? I mean, obviously everywhere he goes, he gets a lot of standing ovations.
Yeah, I mean, he's just extremely popular. I mean, he's obviously one of the best players that's ever played the game. It's not just it's not just how much he's won, but also the way that he plays and the way that he carries himself. He's just extremely popular everywhere. And yeah, I think hopefully we play some good tennis, but just I think for tennis fans all over the world, getting to see him right now playing in different places. He's said that a few years ago. He wants to try and go to places where he's not been, so that all of his fans can watch him. Is great.
Yeah, and just talk a little bit about your rivalry with him. We've seen you play against each other in many fantastic matches over the years. Of course, everyone remembers Wimbledon and the Olympics as well. So just talk a little bit about the rivalry you have with him.
Yeah, I've played him in a lot of big matches. I've played him obviously in the finals of Wimbledon. I played in the finals at the Olympics. We played at the Australian Open in the finals there, the finals at US Open. And yeah, it's been great for me to get to compete against him. Obviously, I've learnt a lot from playing, against him and watching him really since I was a kid. So, to get the opportunity to compete and play against him has been great for my game. I've really, really enjoyed it. It's been hard, obviously, because of how good he is, but yeah, I've loved it. Loved competing against him, and he's always been good to me away from the court as well. So, that's important too.
And of course, for you, we've always seen you playing in Scotland in Davis Cup ties and everything. But how special is it for you to come back and still play in Glasgow once again?
Yeah, I love it. Obviously, I mean, last year it was a great atmosphere. It's an amazing venue, the Hydro. I think it worked very well for the tennis last year, and obviously we played a bunch of Davis Cup ties there as well in Glasgow, and the atmosphere has been incredible. So I think this year, last year was great. I think this year will be better with Roger being there, and yeah, hope it goes well.
Yeah, and of course this is, as we mentioned, the second event that you've hosted here. We know you want to do it for your legacy, but also for some work for charity as well. How important is this event for you?
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, obviously, aside from the Davis Cup, which we played the last few years, quite a lot of ties in Scotland. There hasn't been any, major tennis event. So, to be able to host an event like this and have guys like Dimitrov coming to play and Roger coming to play is, it's great. Hopefully lots of families and children can come along to watch. Hopefully, it inspires them to maybe pick up, a racket. And yeah, obviously, the charity element is nice as well, to raise a lot of money for great causes, is important as well. So that should be a good night. It
certainly will. Now, Stuart, of course, it's the second year that you've been supporting this event. So how much of a success was it for you last year?
Last year was incredible. I mean, I think it really just captured everyone's imagination in Scotland. Andy's touched on there, people are crying out to see tennis in Scotland, and we haven't had the chance to see Andy play all that often. The Davis Cup matches were fantastic, but to bring an event like this, it's more than a tennis event. The entertainment, the family feel, really, really accessible with all, half of the tickets being just £25. Yeah. It's really easy for people to come out and see this event. The venue itself is fantastic. It's one of the best entertainment venues in the world, and I think that really added to the atmosphere last year. Really family-friendly event, and no one who was in the venue last year left without a smile on their face, which I think is testament to the success of it.
Yeah, and just give us an idea, because I know there were lots of family sort of activities for customers out there. There's going to be a lot more this year. So what sort of things can they do? Yeah,
so I mean, we like to reward our customers, and you saw a little bit of it in that VT there. We gave a number of young people the chance to get on court with Andy, which is just once in a lifetime stuff. You talk about inspiring people to play tennis. That's as good as you get. To get on court with British number one, world number one is incredible.
There was a serving thing, wasn't there?
We did a bit of activity last year where we kind of recreated Andy's considerable serve and used a simulator to fire tennis balls.
Did anyone do it?
We had a few people return, and one lucky customer was on court with Andy on the night who, he tried.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we'll be doing lots more things like that this year, so keep your eyes peeled and more to follow.
Absolutely. Now, Mark, your charity was one of the chosen charities last year, involved again. How excited are you to be back involved with it?
Well, we're absolutely delighted to be a beneficiary for a second year. Last year was a huge success, raising, as you said, over £300,000 for UNICEF and another children's charity in Glasgow. Made a big difference, and another really important milestone in Andy's relationship with us as a UNICEF UK ambassador.
That goes back quite a way, doesn't it, to 2014?
Yes, it goes back to the Commonwealth Games when you really started working with us, and then I think in 2015 we did the Andy's Aces piece for Syria, and then 2016 we had Andy Murray Live 1, and now in 2017 we'll have the second one. So there's been a long relationship, and I think all of it shows Andy's commitment to our work for children in danger across the world.
Yeah, and can you just tell us a little bit more about the charity and what the work is that you do?
Yes, so UNICEF is the world's largest children's organisation. We operate in 190 countries in the world. We deliver about 80% of the therapeutic food to severely malnourished children. We provide about a third of the vaccines in the world for children, and we've been around for 70 years looking after children in danger and the most vulnerable children in emergencies and disaster situations. The proceeds from this event go to our Children's Emergency Fund, which is a flexible fund that allows us to react whenever or wherever the need is greatest. Sometimes the media don't always get to emergencies quickly enough, and the public don't become aware quickly enough to respond in an appeal. So we use the Children's Emergency Fund to react quickly. A very good example, in 2016 we provided clean water to about 750,000 people around the city of Mosul in northern Iraq, which has obviously been subject to a really critical conflict issue for the last year or so. We've also provided primary health care to about 3 million people in northern Nigeria through this Children's Emergency Fund. And a little does go a long way. About £5,000 will provide clean water to 15 schools. You know, and we raised hundreds of thousands of pounds through this exercise. So the money is really making a big impact for children in danger, and that's why UNICEF UK is so delighted to be part of it again and to continue to work with Andy.
Yeah, and you said to me earlier, pleased to be back in Glasgow as well.
Definitely, yes. So we've had a good relationship with Glasgow over the last few years, starting with the Commonwealth Games, and we're really keen to develop our relationship and profile with our Scottish supporters, who are incredibly generous to us and loyal to us, and Glasgow is a kind of a special place for UNICEF UK.
Yeah, and Andy, do you want to just add to what we've just heard from Mark about your role as an ambassador for UNICEF UK?
Yeah, well, like Mark said, we've done a few different initiatives, which has obviously raised quite a good amount of money the last few years. And yeah, I mean, anytime you see anything on the news over the world just now, involving children, it's being a parent now is worse for me than it was even a few years ago. And yeah, so anything I can do, events like this to help, or things like the Andy's Aces, anything that will help with that. Like Mark says, the money does go a long way. A little bit of money goes a long way. So try and keep it up. As long as I'm going.
Yeah, and before we go, because I know you've got to do some one-to-ones with everybody here who's probably itching to get hold of you, just as an idea of your schedule going forward for the rest of the year, any changes or anything that you're trying differently or experimenting with, anything different?
No, just I'm playing Dubai, so I'll hopefully leave sort of 2 weeks today to go there and prepare for 5-6 days over there, and some warm weather before Dubai, Indian Wells, Miami are the next events I'm playing, and just taking it a bit easy just now, practicing a little bit, and nothing new to report.
Yeah, and any advice for Roger when he comes to Scotland for the first time? Going to teach him how to put a kilt on.
Yeah, don't try the fried Mars bars. I tried one of them for the first time last year, and it was horrific. So yeah, I'm going to stay away from that.
Okay, no, not going to teach him how to put a kilt on.
No, he did. I saw a little video where he was wearing a kilt when he was announcing that I was going to play in his event over in Switzerland. It was worth looking at, actually. It was quite good. It was
so you're going to put the lederhosen on for him?
I don't think so.
Okay, well that concludes this part of the press conference, and Matt is going to take you now, I think, to go and do some one-to-ones and some filming and what have you. So thank you very much, and very best of luck with the event. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.